Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Catching Up with the Tolberts. I'm Chelsea Whittington, and it's such a delight to be joined by my favorite counselors, attorneys, Shalise and Michael Tolbert. Good afternoon, counselors.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon.
So good to see you both. I correspond with you all periodically. I have to say it might be Michael a little bit more. Michael feeds me like tidbits of news about the Tolberts that keeps me excited about what's going on. And then when I'm out in the community, when I see your logos and your support, I'm like, the magic is still happening at Tolbert and Tolbert. Would you agree, Mrs. Tolbert?
Yes, he is the one that is much better at that stuff. He takes the pictures. I forget about all that stuff. I'm just trying to get there and do whatever we're supposed to be doing and keep it moving.
Okay, well, everybody has their role in these partnerships. And I think, where do I want to start? I got a notification from you, but as well as on social media, that the latest episode of your podcast has dropped. And I believe it's something about bank accounts and joint bank accounts. Michael, what is that all about?
Well, everybody who knows me knows I have a prenup. So if something happens, she's not going to get any of my money. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, y'all.
Attorneys.
That's a joke.
Okay.
No, but we wanted to do some content around couples and joint bank accounts because financial problems are one of the biggest issues in a relationship. So we did some research and we found that there's a lot of scientific information, empirical information about the healthiness of a relationship based on whether or not you have your finances and your resources pooled. So we thought it would be good content, so we created the content for the people, and it's trending pretty well right now. I've got some good feedback, so happy about it, and that's it.
Okay. Well, for those who are not familiar with Married People's Business, it's an amazing podcast created. What season are you in now?
4.
Season 4, created by the Tolberts, that either talk about topics or interview couples or partners who are in business together, giving some tips, insight, experience, resources around things that work and things that may not work. So I haven't watched the episode yet, but I'm excited to do so, and I'm definitely going to be sharing it with my network in the sauce tomorrow and beyond and beyond, beyond. So everybody make sure. How can we find the podcast, Shalise?
Well, it is found on YouTube.
Okay.
So Married People's Business. And if you want the audio, wherever you stream your podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Amazon, we are out there.
You are very fancy. I'm very, very, very impressed.
Look, I have to give one disclaimer, though,
Okay.
because y'all know I'm silly, but I'm also conscious of this stuff. I do have on a different outfit from the podcast. Okay. I got on the same sweater.
Okay.
Different tank top, different bottom.
That's really what you're thinking about?
Right, because this green stands out.
Oh, okay.
So when you look at it, you're going to be like, is this what she had on?
They just did the podcast right before
They
that.
just did it that same day. Right,
Well,
so,
okay. Disclaimer.
That is way, dressed way better than
You looking real courtroom fresh. Are you coming from a trial, a deposition?
You know how the men of Kappa Alpha Psi do. You know how we do, yo, baby, yo. Yo to the noobs out there.
Okay. Yo. Well, you know what? I'm gonna take that yo, and I'm gonna parlay it over to the Henry E. Bennett Foundation and an event, golf outing that you all have coming up that will benefit our young people on June 28th. You want to talk about that? Dapper Dan, is that what you call it?
Yes. So every year we have a golf outing that attracts people from all over, but all the scholarship proceeds go to scholarships for kids that are going to college. And the Henry E. Bennett Foundation has been around for, I want to say about 4 or 5 years. And the foundation has just done some magnificent things in our community. So for those of you, I think you still have time if you want to get a foursome, or if you just want to golf on your own. If you just want to do single golf, that's fine. We're still accepting money. So just come out and support the good brothers of the Gary Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi and party with the purpose.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to actually play golf, but I will show up around 3 when it's time to present the scholarship. With what? That's my role. I will be there to cover the young person receiving the presentation and give some shine to the foundation because they are doing some great stuff.
And it's more than golf. You know, there's good food and brothers are hanging out and just talking crazy and
networking.
You get to see a lot of good fun stuff. So
Let the
you don't
man
have to
be
play.
man.
You don't have to play golf. You can come get some food. You can come drink and just have a good time.
Okay. Well, that's on the docket. So I'm going to back up to, was it the third Sunday in May? I don't know if you were able to make it or not, but your sorority, Delta Sigma Theta, hosted a tea. And I think that's also another fundraiser that benefits the community.
Yes, so unfortunately, I was not able to attend the tea because we were in DC at a conference.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had that tea for quite some time now, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Gary and Long Me chapter. And this year, they went all out. From the pictures, I am disappointed that I was not there.
Yes.
But we did, as a firm sponsor, and I was able to give the tickets away to my hairstylist and her cousin who owns a shop, and they had a wonderful time.
I'm sure they did. I've been one time. It was
great. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
This was better. From the pictures I saw, it's been one of the best ones as far as the venue and everybody in their tea attire. They did not come to play.
All right, well, congratulations to the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta. I always like to emphasize, if you're just tuning in, I'm catching up with the Tolberts, because just as important as the law is to the two of you and what you do on behalf of your clients, you are just as equally committed to your community through sponsorships, participation, volunteerism, and giving back. And so, speaking of giving back, and of course, expanding on your knowledge base, you all were in the nation's capital, and I caught wind of you all being being on the campus of one of the most amazing universities in the world.
Here we go.
That would be Howard University. But I'm going to ask that you talk about the conference and then maybe throw in, your dip off to the Mecca.
Well, we went to DC last week for the American Law Institute's conference. And the American Law Institute is an invitation-only organization for lawyers where we get a chance and opportunity to reshape and reimagine the laws that are on the books, particularly with respect to restatements. And what restatements are tools that judges use whenever there are gray areas or gaps in the law to help them bridge that gap. So the restatements are what they look to when there's not an official law that is directly on the book. So it could be used as persuasive authority, or it could just be used just to help them kind of get closer to a ruling, to get more understanding about a body of law. So the organization that Shalise and I are part of, every year, once a year, the conference shapes those laws. They look at the laws, they reevaluate them, they tweak them, they amend them, and they even come up sometimes with new ones. So it's we thank God every year when we go down there, because it's just a mind-blowing experience. You're in the room with probably some of the smartest people in the world.
They're in the room with you. I'm sorry, I had to jump in and qualify that. I'm sure that you were among the smartest people in the room.
Well, I appreciate
we're
that.
back.
I appreciate that. That's awfully kind. God he's blessed us tremendously, but it's just, we just are in awe when we're in these rooms, and, we're meeting Supreme Court justices that they usually pay a visit a lot of times, and we're having luncheons with Supreme Court judges, and it's just great. So, but there is a lot of time, DC is one of my favorite places in the world.
Mm-hmm.
If I know Shalise doesn't like traveling a lot away, but if she was a traveler, I would probably live in DC. But I know I wouldn't be able to take her away from her mama.
I mean, we travel, but
But you wouldn't want to live.
You want to come back.
I would live in DC.
Okay.
I would leave.
I get that. I get that. It's fast paced, but lots to
Oh,
see.
it's so much history. Its food is magnificent.
Yeah.
Museums, history, culture.
Keyword visiting. Is that what you're saying?
It's great for visiting. We've been to DC together.
That's why I sit between them, everybody. Just to keep it cordial and you're all good. I did want to add my little trivia to that with DC, having gone to Howard and living there and working on Capitol Hill. We recently lost a giant in your profession in Congressman Charlie Rainbow. Charlie was my boss.
Oh, wow.
I interned for Charlie on Capitol Hill. my junior year at Howard. And so to your point about the opportunities to be able to intern, go to the museums, it was a very fulfilling experience. He's 94. Of course, he was in his 60s when I was there. Wow. He was a beast out of Harlem who really fought for his constituents. They were very passionate. So it was my first taste of PR and community engagement. So I did a lot of outreach to his communities in New York. But I'm just glad to know that you all continue with your professional development by attending these conferences, doing the networking, and setting the example for other attorneys. And speaking of other attorneys, there will be a video dropping on YouTube in a matter of hours. I'll make it live. But you all have, I'm talking to my head of HR over here.
That's right.
We have a new lawyer on deck who has been sworn in. Can we welcome her?
Yes. So we hired someone as she was waiting on her admission in Indiana. And so the application was pending, and we hired her at the end of April. And a week and a half ago, has it been now?
Yes.
Her name is Dita Guha, and she was sworn in as an attorney in the state of Indiana. So,
well, congratulations to her.
Nice private ceremony.
A nice little private ceremony. Okay.
You know, she was licensed in Illinois already, but we were able to utilize some contacts, and big thank you to Gary City Court Judge, my soror.
I knew she was going to
Come on now.
Yes.
Deidre Monroe, who came over, brought her robe and everything. To swear in Dita. So it was very good that we were able to do that. It was really kind of Michael's initial thought, and then it's like the light bulb went off in my head as soon as I saw his face, and I'm like, oh, this is what we got to do. And we were able to capture it on video because we did it during the work day, and Dita was able to show it to her parents.
And I wanted to do that because I think we live in such a fast-paced world where we lose sight on very important things that happen in our lives. And when Dita found out that her admissions process was done and complete, she wasn't going to do anything. She was just going to fill out a piece of paper, sign the oath in front of a notary, and send it downstate. And I'm just like, that's not the way.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. And I think it's something about when you say the oath out loud. And I think it really, gets you to understanding the importance of being a lawyer, especially in the times that we are now where so many institutions are under attack. Harvard is under attack.
Oh my goodness.
Our democracy under attack. Judges are being thrown in jail. And right now, lawyers are on the front line. And you really, really need to internalize that oath if you're going to really defend the Constitution. So I wanted her to say it out loud. She's going to, any lawyer that's working in Tolbert, I want them to say the oath out loud. I don't want them to just sign a piece of paper. And I want to go back to Howard because you skipped over.
I skip over the Mecca. Let's go back to the Mecca.
Shout out to all the Howard alum. I took I had my white glove on. I had the white glove test. I visited your campus, and I was going against all the tables, and everything checked out. It was extremely clean, pristine.
So
the grounds. Especially to cap out the side plot. The tree with the noose. Everything was good. Now the AKs, y'all grass was a little, it needed to be.
Well then let them handle that.
They had some nice, newer looking stones that were representing their organizations. In one area, I think that was like the newer library quad or something, and then the other quad is where we had our tree, Delta Sigma Theta, being founded
at Howard.
January 13th.
You're not online. We don't need you to skip that history like that.
But at any rate, it was a great experience because I had been there and done that when we did our centennial, but it was so many of us that they were pushing us in. So to do that with my partner, my husband, who is also in a Black Greek organization, it was a good time.
I'm glad you made the time to stop by. And with you all going to the conference, I did want to ask you this, Michael. Well, not with the conference, with the swearing in of your new attorney, and you had said she's licensed in Illinois and now Indiana. Share with me the benefit of that. I'm sure there are benefits, right? Some of our laws are a little different, and kind of maybe bring in new context from the state law in Illinois. How does that benefit? I'm sure
it's a tremendous benefit to us to have somebody that's dual licensed because we can go over into Illinois and get new clients, and we're not
Okay.
necessarily restricted just to Indiana. So we have somebody, and we get clients all the time that call. I know we have, I'm not going to say the client's name, but we do have a client that has a significant amount of business in Illinois. We're able to do that business because a lot of it is contract reviews, so it's not necessarily impacting like state laws. But it's good to have somebody here that has an Illinois license so that we can really leverage our opportunities and work over in that area.
I thought so. I am so happy for you. Every time we come and we catch up with the Tolberts, it's something new, it's something exciting, and it's something for us as a community to be proud of. I also know that one or both of you served recently on a panel discussion. What was that about?
Yeah, that was me. So I've been very involved with the Indiana University IUN's Pre-Law Society. So they actually wanted to come here to see like the inner workings of a law firm. So Shalise and I opened up our doors to allow them to come in and let them meet the staff, let them see how the paperwork is pushed and filed. And then after that, IUN had a panel discussion about the state of the legal profession right now, because for those of you who don't know, there's a lawyer shortage. So we don't have enough lawyers right now, and there's always been a lawyer shortage in urban areas. There's the legal profession is made up of about 1%, 1.5% minorities. So people of color
That's
have
a
always
problem.
been a huge problem. And now not only do you have a deficiency in lawyers of color, but you just have a deficiency across the board in lawyers generally.
Okay.
So, we need lawyers that are on the front line to defend our Constitution, to build things. Whenever you go into any community, I always say that if you see something being built, there's a lawyer behind it. So when you don't have enough lawyers, particularly in urban areas, then our areas are going to suffer. So IUN was gracious enough to have a symposium to address that issue, and they asked me if I would share some insight. And as the former state bar president, I had a little bit of insight in terms of the governance of, the law practice across the state. So I was able to tell them kind of what I see and what I think we should do. And we're down a law school. Valparaiso University School of Law is closed. So that was another part of the discussion as well, in terms of possibly trying to get some form of another law school here. So I'm pushing for that here in Gary, if we can get it here. And I'm sure Mayor Eddie Melton would love to have a law school in his area, and that would be another boom to our economy.
So now, speaking of things getting built and lawyers being behind it, it's got to be some lawyers coming to Gary then, because we got the nod for the convention center. What's your reaction to that, Shalise?
I think that's absolutely exciting. It's fabulous. I think it is energizing to our community. So I'm looking forward to whatever it brings.
Yes, same here. Congratulations to the city of Gary. I wanted to throw that in there. So we talked about some of the things that you have sponsored in the past. You have one more thing coming up, because not one more, but the next thing coming up is on June 7th. I understand that you all are supporters of the Edgewater Health Art Gala coming up. Will you be able to attend? Are you supporting it? Will I see it on the blue carpet? I don't know what color purple carpet. I don't know what color purple carpet.
Unfortunately, this is my second year in a row not attending, but we won't be able to attend because we will be in Charlotte at the Who Am I Gala.
That's right.
Where we have been blessed to be recognized for business in that arena. And Terry Watson does a great job with that magazine. So, but we are sponsoring the Edgewater Gala, and we are donating our tickets actually to a couple of folks on the board that I serve on that's near and dear to me, and that's the Gary Literacy Coalition.
Well, thank you so much for your support of Edgewater, which gave me that perfect segue into the Huami Magazine Gala. I would be in Charlotte with you had I not been already committed to go to the Edgewater Gala, but I'm always glad to know that there's so many great things that we can attend and that we are a part of. And I want to extend my personal congratulations to the two of you for this honor. And it's not too late. I shared some messaging, me and Terry, went behind your back, sorry. But wanted to give business communities and those who know and love the Tolberts an opportunity to support them through the ad book. I've submitted my ad with my big cheesy smile because I'm so proud of you all. But you have until June 3rd. You can inbox me. The information is in my newsletter and on my pages. If you would like to support the Tolberts, whether it be through an ad, patron, any of those things, that's just an opportunity. And no sooner than I sent it out, I had a few people reach out like, what are the dimensions of? So just know there are people who know and love you, who respect you and really admire what you're doing. And I'm at the top of that list. So my ad and my payment are in. I have committed. Congratulations. So I can't wait. So I'm going to put you on assignment. You got to put on your social media hats. Boop, boop. Since I won't be there, I need clips, reels, photos, testimonials, selfies, ussies to make us feel like we were there so we can post and share. But I'm so proud of you both. Congratulations.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
We couldn't have done it first without God, but more importantly with you. Because your company is just, and I see that you're growing by leaps and bounds, and we're just so happy that we could be a part of, your growth and making sure that you get our story out and the stories of so many other businesses. So we pray that God continues to bless your business.
Well, thank you. As we get ready to wrap up this portion of this session of Catching Up with the Tolberts, are there any things that you all want to share coming up for the summer? We talked about the golf outing, but specifically for the firm, are we fully staffed now? Every time we do an episode, we are welcoming somebody. I like it.
We do still need one more paralegal.
Yes.
Okay.
So, if you have any paralegal skills, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email, check us out on social medias, reach out to me. You can send a resume, whatever the case may be. So we're looking for good people that want to be in something that we think God has blessed greatly for the long haul.
All right.
Amen.
And you are officially, any final thoughts from you, Michael?
I can't beat that. So we'll end on a high note. I appreciate you again, and I appreciate everyone who continues to watch Catching Up with the Tolberts and to support our podcast and all of the other things that we do. So we know that we could not do half of the stuff without your support. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you two stay good busy. Good kind of busy. You have been watching an episode of Catching Up with the Tolberts. I've been your host, Chelsea Whittington. Thank you so much for watching. Please share this video and we will see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
See you later.